Alright guys, Dokkan time again, and today we'll be doing, we shall be doing two how to builds for this video. One for Nail, and then one for the Super Saiyan Goku, or Angry Goku, Angie Goku, but we're going to be doing both of them at the same time, because they're both kind of, I'm not going to say they're terrible EZAs, but they are very much underwhelming, and I didn't feel like they both deserved a separate video to each one. So hopefully the algorithm will kick it out to people that need one or the other. But yeah, let's just kind of move into it and get it done and over with. We'll start off with Nail. Nail is pretty underwhelming, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, he's pretty good. So let's kind of go over here. After he EZAs, he will have he'll have Namekian leader skill of 160, a very weird number, but it's there. He greatly stacks attack and defense. Attack and defense 150, launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack, plus an additional attack and defense for 150% for 3 turns from the character's entry turn. Now, that right there, this is what makes this unit kind of bad, because 3 turns is not very much. That's his first 2 appearance, and losing 150% defense is actually quite large. That's like 2 stacks. That's like 2 or 3 stacks worth. Plus an additional attack and defense 150, and reduces damage received by 30% to 77%. The less HP remaining, the greater the reduction. So this is a pretty insane damage reduction skill here. If anybody remembers the AGL Super Vegeta, it's very similar in that the lower your HP, the more damage reduction you will have, so the more likely he will just straight up tank everything. Namekian category allies on the team. All allies, when there's another Namekian category ally on the team. So he only has that damage reduction and additional attack and defense of 150% if you have another Namekian on the team. All allies keep +2 attack and defense 50% when there is an ally whose name includes Piccolo on the team. Pretty simple that you bring Orange Piccolo onto any team that you're bringing this guy with. Launches an additional super attack, and all attacks become critical when there is a Wicked Bloodline or Planet Namek Saga category enemy. So pretty obvious that, you know, you fight any Namek Saga or Wicked Bloodline enemy, and this guy's gonna cook. I will say there is a problem here. This guy's got no 200%. He's only got 170s. He's got some nice links. You know, Cold Judgment is pretty good. Experience Fire, Shocking Speed. But Hero and Supreme Warrior, pretty bad links. Namekians, obviously, is Namekians. He has 3 categories. I don't know why they did this. I could probably think of several other categories to put him on. But Namekians, Planet Namek Saga, and Connected Hope, man. So technically, this Nail's best leader skill is going to be under the newly EZA'd Goku and Gogeta LR. That is the best leader skill for this this Nail, because they are a 180 lead. So his highest leader skill that he can possibly rock right now is 180%. I'm assuming, you know, eventually one day when we get another Connected Hope leader, we could be cooking something with him. But until then, you know, his best teammates aren't exactly really cooking much. So probably his best teammate is actually just going to be an Orange Piccolo. And that's primarily just going to be for experienced fighters and Namekian links going off. And that's pretty much it. You probably will not be seeing Cold Judgment going off at any point of time. Unfortunately, Kami Piccolo is a very expired unit, and if we do get an EZA for this PyCon, this will be a very strong combination, depending on how well the EZA is. But until then, this guy is a unit that has very little potential for the future, but is still a very good, solid unit for anything he will go into that is related to Wicked Bloodline or Planet Namek. As far as his defense goes, his defense can actually be very good. Compliments of Halvard here. You know, with Piccolo on the team, Namek Saga enemy with 8 super attack effects, you know, start a turn 1.5 million defense. You know, that's pretty crazy. Now, 8 super attack effects. You might think that's not a lot, Joe. No, it is, because this is a unit that can potentially double, triple, quad super. Hold on a second here. How many supers can we get out of this guy? We get the initial super. We have the 70% chance innately. And then we have the Wicked Bloodline or Planet Namek Saga, and then we have the Hidden Potential system. That's a potential quad super potential with this unit with a greatly stacking ability. Honestly, that can happen on turn 1 and turn 3. He could get to 8 stacks. Unlikely, but more than likely he can get to 8 stacks straight up on turn 5. You know, 1.5 million defense with 30% to 77% damage reduction. That's pretty good. He's sitting pretty spiffy. I like this nail. I do. I think he's really good. As far as his build go, obviously additional is what you should be aiming for. Additional, and then dodge or crit. It really highly depends on how you want to build him. But personally, I think I'll be going with full-on additional, and then I'll put the rest into dodge, because I'm a person that builds a unit for a specific focus and a specific purpose. If I build the unit in that way, I'm going to use him in that way specifically. And for this nail, I'm going to be using him against Wicked Bloodlines or Planet Namek Saga. I'm going to take advantage of that auto-critting potential, and that's what I'm going to do personally. But I can see how some people would want their own damage in there at some other points in other fights, so I do understand where people are coming from on that idea. So, otherwise, he is primarily a defensive unit that has very little team options. But we shall move on to the Super Saiyan Angi Goku. I call him Angi Goku. This is Angry Goku. Now, y'all are gonna be mad at me for this one. Y'all gonna be mad, and that's fine. Y'all can be mad. It's fine. It's a weird little sub EZA. I think he's a sub EZA. Is he a sub EZA? Yeah, he's a sub EZA. So I mean, sub EZAs are hit or miss. You know, not everyone's gonna build them the same. Some people are gonna just build this guy full dodge and just not ever even use him. Personally, like I said, I like to build a unit with purpose, and this dude has quite the kit. So, primarily for a 55% build, I'm gonna go for crit. I'm going to show you why. As far as 200% leader options, he's got quite a few. It is Super Saiyan Goku, so I mean, he's on a lot of teams. He's on a lot of teams. Oddly enough, he is not 200% on the Super Saiyan Trio team. That is something to keep in mind, unfortunately, because he does want that extra defense. So he can actually have quite a bit of difference in damage, depending on if you throw him on the Super Saiyan Trio team or if you throw him on one of the other 200%, where you'll get that extra boost of damage just from the leader skill. He massively raises attack for 1 turn on super. That's a 100% increase on damage. He has Ki plus 3 attack and defense 200, and he survives KOs once within a turn. So once within a turn, he can survive a KO, no matter what. Plus 200% and attacks effective against all types, starting from that turn of HP being 59% or less after receiving an attack. So the way the receiving an attack works is that he can dodge. So if he dodges, that counts as receiving an attack, because he's being targeted pretty much. If HP is 20% or less when receiving an attack, evades enemies' attacks, including super attack, within that turn once only, if your HP is below 20%. He also gets plus an additional attack and defense 100% and launches an additional super attack starting from that turn. So he actually has a double super if you fall below 20% HP and gets attacked. And he also recovers 59% HP if HP is 20% or less at the end of that turn. So here's the deal with this Goku, is that he has an ability that's very interesting, is that he's so utterly weak that you can easily fall below that 20%. But the second that he falls below that 20%, he auto dodges. Now, obviously, in harder content, this can be kind of a double-edged sword. He could lose all your health and then, dodge everything. But the next attack that comes in on one of your allies, if it's just too much, like literally a point of damage, it could potentially be the end of the match. But this is why typically I would say float this Goku, float him in slot 3, wait for him to get destroyed utterly, and then he comes back and he's just a monster with damage. And that's kind of what you want to use him with. You want him to get hit, you want him to lower that health bar, auto dodge, move on to the next turn with your health recovered, and then the next time he comes around, he's just launching angry Kamehamehas and doing like freaking 15, 30, 45 million damage in one sitting. Now, this doesn't sound very good, but for players that have some limited options, for free-to-play players, for people that don't have a lot of units, this could be very key, and specifically, this could be very clutch in like Planet Namek Saga category exclusive events. Any of these events that have category bonuses with this unit, he could actually be pretty clutch if it's a super difficult fight. Obviously he's a Super Saiyan unit, so he's gonna link with all the Super Saiyans, man. I like the mechanic of this Goku. I think he's very interesting. I don't think he's good per se. I don't think he's bad either, and I think that's the hard thing about this unit. It's like he's not good, he's not bad, but I mean, as far as his defense goes, you can see here, like this is just an abysmal defense, really. He doesn't even get all of his defense until after receiving an attack below 20% HP, you know, and this is what I mean, like he's pretty much glass cannon. He'll do significantly good damage, but he has like no defense. Which is why a lot of people are going to struggle with my suggestion on the build next right here, which is a full damage dealing build. You can definitely give this guy dodge. I would not fault you whatsoever for giving him dodge in the placement of additional, but I do have to acknowledge and do have to say that if you do not focus and give this guy crit, you are just not using the unit correctly. Like, you're just actively not using the unit correctly if you do not give him at least crit. I can understand flipping the dodge. I can understand removing this and putting dodge. I understand that completely, and please do it if that's what you're comfortable with. But this unit is a unit that I feel can do a massive amount of damage after he is recovered, and I think that could be useful. I do. I think that could be useful. I think he can be a useful EZA STR unit. Whether or not he will prove to be useful in the coming weeks with current content coming out with Planet Namek Saga relations, it's really hard to say. It's really hard to say. He's a glass cannon that snaps back at you. He will hit pretty hard. Nail is pretty good too. I like Nail. I just wish he had more team options, you know? So, but anyways, guys, do let me know how you are going to build both the Nail and Super Saiyan Namek Goku. I'm very curious to how people are going to be using them, if they're even going to use them at all. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day and a good night.